Hi, just going to go over a few pieces of vocabulary from chapter 1 that could be a bit tricky. So in chapter 1, it mentions hearth. So a hearth was actually the fireplace. You can see there's like a fire made of iron, and the hearth is actually this fireplace here, sort of on the floor. Usually made from like tiles, obviously something non-flammable. That means it can't be lit. Could be, obviously wouldn't be wood. So some kind of like tile or metal, something like that. So that does come up quite a few times, the word hearth. Another one is shilling. So I don't know if you've heard of that before. Shilling is old-fashioned money. And you can see it came about in the Victorian times, because there is Queen Victoria. Now on our coins we have Queen Elizabeth II. She is our queen, so she's on the front of all our coins. And you can see here on the back of it, on the reverse, it has got 1883. So that was during the Victorian time, but shillings did go up to about 1971. Obviously, it wasn't the Victorian times, but that's just when they stopped. And the value of a shilling was probably around about the value of kind of like then was 12 pence. So a shilling in those days was worth quite a bit of money. I've got quite a few shillings that I've kind of found over the years in random places, to be honest. And I've sort of managed to sort of keep them. They're not really worth anything because they're sort of scratched and a bit damaged. Well, in fact, my grandmother used to collect them, and she sort of passed them down to me. So I've still got those, and they're quite handy to look at. Okay, and then we've got horse and carriages. So you can just see there is a carriage, and it did mention in the text about carriages. So often you would have a driver, and do you think it was rich people or poor people that had them? So it would have been rich people, wouldn't it? People with some money. Because obviously would have, or somebody who was, quite sort of distinguished, I'm not saying famous, but very sort of well off, important. There were different types of carriages, ones where people just sort of drove them themselves, and they were kind of were just open as well. It also mentioned the text about hammocks. Hammock, I'm sure you probably know, was a piece of cloth, and it's just suspended up from somewhere so you can lie in it. Now let me just move my face over here, and there's a couple of tricky words here, so you might be unfamiliar with, like triumph. He was panting with triumph and excitement. That's a sentence from the book. It means like triumph and victory. And brimming, they broke off chunks of pastry and dipped them into the brimming gravy. So what do you think that would be, brimming? So brimming's like full to the top. Does sound delicious, doesn't it? Okay, that's it for now, and hopefully that will help us when we're reading.